Okay, I found this as a link to a white Christian site, and it says protect your white Christian identity. Don't let them lie. And I'm wondering what that was. So I click on it here, and the opening picture is a picture of an elder cross with swastikas all around it from a time way before World War II, but after the time of Christ, showing you that this was a symbol that they much embraced back in the time, and that it shouldn't be misconstrued or screwed over on people today. Then it talks about evolutionists playing with the definition of species and kind. This proves my point about evolutionists and their lack of ability to define what a species or kind actually is. They will bend their definition so that whatever they say does not go against the Jewish Marxist agenda. See my previous article on fallacy of evolutionary theory. But so here we see a picture. It says, this says it all. The illustration shows it. Now you see these two, I don't know, coyote wolf looking things they call jackals, right? And what they found is that the golden jackal of East Africa and the Eurasian jackal are very distinct species. And if you look at them, you can't tell the difference almost, but no, they're very distinct species from each other. In fact, one is really a wolf and not even truly a jackal, but they've called it that forever, and it seems like the puffiness of its tail has led people to believe that all along. So that's strange that both of these would be classified for so long as being one, and then after a while they finally tested the mtDNA and said, oh no, they're not even related at all. This is more related to a wolf, and this one is a jackal. Okay, let's apply that towards other things in humanity if we can for a moment, with an open mind. Look at these two people. Europeans and Africans are Caucasians and Negroids. Same exact species? Is it? Whenever a jackal and a coyote look exactly alike, you could understand somebody for a long time thinking they weren't the same, but later DNA shows the truth. We've checked this out, and DNA shows that they actually have a marker that's not existent in any of our people whatsoever, that they have an admix from some other creature that isn't part of the humans creatures over here on the right. That we have a Neanderthal, it gives us out on 1 to 4%, but at the same time, they don't have that. So that makes that person right there with the green eyes different. And then you take 1,000,000 years and extrapolate it, and it definitely is a different person. And you take a few million years and it becomes quite the different person or different creature. Yet we're told everybody's all the same. We know now that Denisovans have a play in this also, but they're all the same. Well, it doesn't seem that they're all the same. One of them is a spaceman now making computers and heralding mankind. The other one is definitely lying to themselves and saying they were the Egyptians or they're part of the Bible and so on, and really it's gotten to be quite out of hand. But is it because they keep getting told that they're the exact same species? Or is this just their wanton jealousy? This is how much we can trust science in 2015. And I'll tell you, it's not much better in 2019, where they can see distinct differences between these races and then try to tell you they're all the same. It's kind of odd. They can tell the difference between subtle types of dolphins, but they can't tell you that we're subtly different from each other. Golden jackals of East Africa are actually golden wolves, biologists report. A golden jackal from Tanzania. You can't even hardly tell the difference, but yet I'm positive that you can tell the difference here. It's not just the color of skin either, for there's a lot of difference between the IQ levels, output, things like that. Yeah, one can jump higher. Although they look very similar, the golden jackals of East Africa and those of Eurasia are two entirely different species. Life scientists reported today in the Journal of Current Biology. The discovery of which is based on DNA evidence increases the diversity of the biological family Canidae, the group belonging to dogs, wolves, foxes, and jackals. They don't call them all one. From 35 living species now to 36. This represents the first discovery of a new canid species in Africa in more than 150 years, says Klaus Petrov Kopflag, a former UCLA postdoctoral scholar who is now at the Smithsonian Conservation Biology Institute in Washington, D.C. The new study, led by Kopflag, senior author Robert Wayne, and a professor of ecology at the evolutionary biology in the UCA College, was inspired by recent reports suggesting that the African jackal was actually a subspecies of gray wolf. Those studies were based on analyzed restricted to the mitochondrial DNA. Further down the article, however, the genetic data support the idea that they are two separate lineages and they have been evolving independently for at least 1 million years. Oh wow, so they came out with this information and these things look exactly alike or slightly different than each other, and not even slightly, but very different than each other, but they can't apply that to humans, huh? That statement about them evolving independently for at least 1 million years is pure conjecture. Notice how they throw in the million-year time frame in an attempt to give the evolutionary idea some credibility. He says, funny enough, though, the so-called missing link would look no different to either jackal. Now, this is a Christian website, and I believe this man believes the world is 6,000 years old. So whenever they threw the million at him, he didn't like that idea. But then again, if we use that as a concept, they separated 1 million years ago and totally different out of each other, but they're convergence. They kind of look alike, but they're not alike. That's convergence. There's a vine snake in South America and one in Africa, Congo, that look very much alike. But it almost takes a scientist to know the difference, but yet they aren't related in any bit, one bit whatsoever. So when you see two vine snakes and one of them isn't even green, would you then think that that's the same thing as the other vine snake? Is that the way that works? Anyway, whilst there are no doubts that some small adaptational differences between these two populations of golden jackal, the idea that they are two entirely different species is very, very unconvincing whenever you look at the pictures and what they say about them. But if we're to believe that they can tell this amount of difference in things that are in there, why can't we believe and tell this amount of difference between these people? The animal's coat or hair is not even the same any bit remotely. The chances of eye color on the one on the left versus the one on the right are not remotely the same. Skin coloration, IQ levels, a myriad of things are different between these two, but yet they are the same, and that are different. Radically different. At what point are we going to actually agree that they're different? That we are different? That they are different and those are different? Oh, surely we can see it every day. We talk about it. Oh, Chinese people versus this on India and so on. But yet we're all told they're exactly one. But they're not. They're not. And I think that's about the end of that one, guys. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace.